As we have been discussing, the first two verses of this chapter discussed about the important sadhana, one of the important sadhana called how to manage one's own extrovertness. After discussing the central theme of the Upanishadic teaching was being highlighted verse number 3, and of course in the 4 also, through two prakriyas. One was called Drigdrishya Viveka Prakriya and other one was called Avasthatraya Prakriya. Now after discussing, interestingly, this verse number 4, let us read. Okay, already we have seen 4 we have seen, I think, yes. So actually if we look at 4, verse number 4 we can look at little differently today also once more. Actually verse number 4 is considered as Mahavakya. As you know, the Mahavakya means the sentence that which reveals the identity between the individual and totality, the oneness between individuality and totality. Popularly we have 4 Mahavakyas: Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Pragyana Brahma, Ayatma Brahmaiti. But you can see in many mantras, this Mahavakya also is there, which you have to understand. It takes little time. So verse number 4 also we can see the Mahavakya in it. How? Says that Swapnantam, because we have seen this verse, that's why I am again bringing it back. Swapnantam Jagaritantam Chaubhau Ena Anupashyati. So when he says that Swapnantam Jagaritantam means related to Jivatma, the individual, and Mahantam Vibhumatmanam talks about Ishvara. So that means Tvampada and Tatpada both are there. Matva, knowing, that is called Aikya, bringing oneness. So this verse number 4, as it is a Mahavakya, also verse number 5 we can look at also as another Mahavakya. So trying to understand really very carefully. So we need to see that how this happens. So here it talks about that how this Ekatma or Sarvatma Bhava, that the Atma is one, or that which is everywhere, that is Atma. So we need to really understand how here also there is Jivam, Tvampada, Ishanam, we'll be seeing this point, okay. Yaimam Madhvadam Veda, okay, let us read so that it becomes easier. Yaimam Madhvadam Veda Atmanam Jivamantikat Ishanam Bhutamabhyasya Ishanam Bhutabhavyasya Natato Vijugupsute Etat Vaitat. So here Jivam is Tvampada, Ishanam, we'll be seeing in details, is Tatpada, Veda means to know, is Aikya Bhavana, bringing together. So here, as we see, in this particular verse, we have to understand the Ekatma, or you can say Sarvatma, both way, is being expressed in three formats, in three ways: Jagat, Ishwara, and also Jiva. Jagat, Ishwara, Jiva, or you can say Jagat, Jiva and Ishwara, too easy for you to understand little technically. How? We'll be seeing in details. The another 2-3 verses will make it much more clear. It's a very interesting thing. That's why whoever misses, I think I should not repeat it. Whoever misses the class misses. I'm really not happy today. What happens here is, when this Ekatma or Sarvatma alone, it is along with tamas, means where tama pradhana, Ekatma or Jivatma, what you call Sarvatma, Ekatma, with tamas pradhan, that Maya is called as a Jagat. Okay? It's a very nice way to understand. Tamas pradhan Maya with Ekatma is called Jagat. Raja pradhana Maya is called Jiva. And of course, Sattva pradhana Maya is called Ishwara. Okay? So it's a new way of looking at it, because this is how you have to see Ekatma Bhava. All are technical. Okay? So that's why if you look at, again I am repeating, Tama Pradhana Maya, Ekatma Tama Pradhana Maya is called Jagat. Same Ekatma along with Raja Pradhana Maya called Jiva. Same Ekatma along with Sattva Pradhana Maya is called Ishwara. And you will see also how this Atma, that appears to be different, sometimes as Antaryami Ishwara. Remember, Antaryami means Ishwara. Ishwara becomes Antaryami, Pratyagatma. And also as Hiranyagarbha, the firstborn, that is also Ishwara. And also we'll see as a Virat Ishwara. So 3 aspects. That also we'll see. And interestingly, among these 3, if we look at the Ishwara as Antaryami, Ishwara as Hiranyagarbha, see, all are Ishwara. That's why this English word God is very confusing. This God, Lord doesn't communicate anything, convey anything, except it talks about efficient cause, nothing else. So that's why Ishwara, in Ishwara you can see the difference. In Ishwara as Antaryami, Ishwara as Hiranyagarbha, and Ishwara as Virat. We'll be seeing, because the verse will analyze all these things. So among these, here in this verse, the verse number 5 talks about that Antaryami Ishwara, the Ishwara as Antaryami. And verse number 6 and 7 will talk about that Hiranyagarbha as Ishwara. And of course verse number 8 will talk Virat as Ishwara. So because we need to see, because not that simply, actually if you do not understand in this way, the teaching will not work. That's why the beautiful thing is, the one who understands that Ishwaraha as Antaryami, Ishwaraha as Hiranyagarbha, and Ishwaraha as Virat is none other than me, then only the verse will talks, na tataha bijugupsate. Only then the person will not seek any more protection or security anywhere in the outside world. It's a very strong verse, okay? Because please understand, only when a person gains this knowledge in a systematic way, in this way, and of course there is nitidhyasanam regularly. This is the most important aspect. Because of these, now the person, especially here Shika, will no longer seek will no longer seek protection from anybody, any person, or from any external things in life, because there is no second thing to threaten the person. There is fear when there is duality. Now the teaching allows you to resolve the duality. So there is no need of a person to seek any sort of protection or security from anybody or any outside world. So with this, let us now read this beautifully. We need to understand. Yai mammadvadam veda atmanam jivamantikat ishanam bhutabhavyasya natatah bijugupsate etat vaitat. So beautifully. Now if we look at the Anvaya part here, which I have shared already with you all. Ya imam antikat sthitam madhvadham jivam atmanam bhutabhavyasya ishanam veda saha tataha na bijugupsate etat vai tat. So if you look at translation, so that little bit changes so that you can understand word by word, so there also you can understand, because those who are not able to follow Sanskrit alphabet, they can look at the word by word meaning. So there we have tried our best to do something, okay? So please try to understand that. So here he says very nicely that Yaha Veda. So when he says Yaha Veda, the one who knows. Now question may comes, so what does the person know? Imam jivam atmanam. So this jivam as atma means this jivatma, the one who knows this jivatma. So when he says the one who knows jivatma, now okay, I understand what as what. He says madhvadam. Madhvadam means the one who experienced the result of action, prarabdha, especially here, karma phala, as prarabdha. So that means the one who experienced the result of action in the form of prarabdha. Now interestingly, says beautifully, that is something antikat. So the one who experiences this result of action or enjoys this prarabdha or suffers prarabdha experience, that's why, is antikat. Antikans happens to be identical with, there is a similarity to be identical with what? With Ishanam. So Ishanam means the Lord. And who is that Lord? Says Bhuta Bhavyasya, the Lord of the past and future. And of course, when he says Bhuta Bhavyasa, which includes also present, Kalatraya. Bhuta Bhavyasya, and for present also. Vartamanasya api. Na bijugupsate, does not seek any security. Tatah, thereafter. So when it says etat vaitat, of course whatever you had asked long back, this indeed is that. Now when you look at this verse, now let us look at Adi Shankaracharya so that it becomes easier. Even though I spoke in between, in the beginning while introducing, I spoke in keeping with Adi Shankaracharya's language, but little bit we have to explore so that we understand. Says beautifully, Yah kaschit imam madhodam karma phala bhujam jivam. Suppose a qualified person, and when you say a qualified person means what? Sadhana chatushtya sampanna adhikarina. Don't forget that, okay? So that person is a qualified person who has sadhana chatushtya, fourfold qualifications. Don't ask me, okay, what are they, please. If you ask, I'll stop the class. I'll say, okay, Purnamada Purnamidam. Now he says, this jiva, a jiva, now becomes the experiencer. So being a jiva, who is the experiencer of what? Of prarabdham. So this prarabdha karma phalam is called as madhodam. And of course expecting that madhu, some type of honey, some type of good experience, but don't ask me, okay, what he experiences, what he does, okay? Then what happens? Now here says beautifully, now that jiva bijanati, Veda means bijanati. So what does know? Constantly knows, gains this knowledge of what? The self-knowledge. And what is that? Says that this jivam, that the jivatma, which is very beautiful word, he says that pranadi kalapasya dharayitaram. It's a very technical word he uses very nicely. This jivatma, which supports or holds dharayitaram, what? Pranadi kalapasya, prana adi, which holds or supports the group of prana, means prana, etc. Prana adi kalapasya means which indicates all sense organs. You understand? So that means jiva holds the prana and all the indriyas, all sense organs. So in short, what we call as body mind complex. In fact, in body mind complex, jiva holds. That is better word. Now, this Atma, who happens to be Antikat. So Antikat means there is a closeness, happens to be very closed, identified. That's why we use the word identified. And what? This is identical, to be identical with what? With Paramatma. And who is that Paramatma? The Ishanam. The Ishanam, who happens to be Paramatma here. So who is the master of Bhuta Bhavyasya Ishitaram? Ishana means Ishitaram. Bhuta Bhavyasya Kalatrayasya. Because already I have spoken, but I am going along with Shankara Bhashyam, not different, okay? Bhuta Bhavyasya Kalatrayasya means the one who is the master of threefold of time, Kalatrayasya. And what are they? Bhuta and Bhavya, past and future. Of course, we have to supply the word present. There is no choice, okay? So when he says a kala prayasa means also present. Then what happens? As a consequences of it, what happens? Now that knowledge, tatah tat vijnanat urdhvam, that person does not desire to be protected. Na bijugupsate, na gopaitum ichhati iti. So why? Because, that's a beautiful point, because he says that abhaya praptatvat, he uses this word abhaya praptatvat, because he has attained security within himself. Because the point here is also how he gives again example. Let us go along with Shankara so that it becomes easier. Yavat hi bhayam adhyastha anitya atmanam manyate. Indeed, yavat hi, indeed, if you look at life, as long as manyate, as long as one considers, what considers? That bhayam adhyastha anityam atmanam, as long as one considers one's own self as impermanent, called anatma, anityam anatma manyate iti, impermanent anatma, tabat, that long, what happens? That jiva always will be what? Tabat bhayo, tabat, okay, tabat bhayam adhyastha, that long the jiva will be in the amidst of fear. So as long as the jiva considers that I am anatma, definite, and anityam, not permanent, definitely that long there is bhayam, and of course will be threatened, will feel threatened by what? By, remember, when you feel threatened, this is a beautiful point he uses, how you are being threatened. Generally you are being threatened, or you feel threatened better, only by the world and invisible prarabdha. The fear is always related to your prarabdha. What is going to come? Invisible prarabdha. Can you see this point? Because you are not confident in yourself, you are not within yourself. So always you project what is going to happen, what is next. So all your fear is really related to your invisible prarabdha, and that long invisible prarabdha makes you to be afraid of situation and everything. As long as you don't have confidence in you, as long as you don't have trust in the knowledge, as long as there is no identity, there is no oneness between you as jiva and the Paramatma, the totality. Can you see this point? That's why a common bhakta, a devotee, is better than, much better than so-called Vedantin. Why? At least a devotee has some trust in the God, even though sees there is difference between me and God. But at least there is a trust in God. God will take care of me. And because the trust in God, that God will take care of me, God knows the best, at least that person will not have that much fear as so-called Vedantin, so-called thinkers. You understand what I am trying to say? Neither this side nor that side. So that's why it is very clearly said here that the person feels threatened with reference to invisible prarabdha. What is going to happen to me next? You understand? You know, that next is you. Very nicely, I forgot that story in details. In Hindi they said, the person was always talking very high. Okay, who are you and all these things. Okay, I am Jahan Khan. Means whatever everything I digest. Okay, Now the person says, okay, if you are Jahan Kha, do you know what is my name? Tujhe Kha. Means if you can eat everything, you can digest everything, I can digest you. Why to waste my time to destroy others? Let me digest you itself. So that chapter is over, taken care. So here, this, do you know, the gap between me and the totality, me and the God. I would rather say the difference, not gap, the difference between me and God creates all sorts of instability in me and my life. That's why we say very clearly, unless the person is a religious, cannot become a Vedantin. This is my statement, I am making it. Unless the person is a religious, cannot become a Vedantin. It doesn't work. That's why I am trying my best to bring you back to religious practices, like starting with Lalita Sahasranama chanting. Do you understand? Puja and all these things. Why I am injecting one thing after another? Because Vedanta doesn't work and will not work. This becomes a Devanta. You understand what is Devanta? There is difference between Vedanta and Devanta. Devanta means the end of all the God, okay? Means I am a Vedantin. I don't need any puja. I don't have to do anything else. I am Brahman Atman. I see. You are a Brahman Atman. But for a little bit Bhandara sake, okay, that person got more, not me. And in Sodasi time, that person was giving, I am not telling you, one Swami complained me, okay, that's why I am sharing it. Actually, during Sodasi time, that person was main, but there are senior people, they were not made. I said, senior people were there, not made importance, or you did not get importance. Tell me what is the truth. It's like, you know, while having food, what to say? Paisam. He is asking for paisam. It's not he is asking for paisam. When he comes next to you, hey, please put it here also. Because you don't have guts to say that I need paisam. So you call in the name of somebody, okay? Please, he needs paisam. And sometimes that person says, no, I don't want. Hey, please ask, let him come. Coming back here, that's why what you need to do here is that unless and until this Ekatma or Sarvatma Bhava comes in you, definitely that long you will seek the protection in the outside world. That's why a Vedantin, the man of understanding, Vedantin means the man of understanding, need not be afraid of anything in life. You are always ready to face whatever comes. Because why? Because already time is going go up. I thought 2 verses I'll take, but I think I have to stop. Because you have first and foremost understanding, even if you have little bit Vedanta, okay? Not necessarily in details, okay? Little bit Vedanta if you have. That Prarabdha is going to get unfolded. Do you have any choice with reference to your Prarabdha? If this much understanding you have, that the Prarabdha is going to get unfolded. So when it gets unfolded, where you bothered? In fact, when Prarabdha gets unfolded, you are not bothered. But you are bothered about invisible Prarabdha when it is going to get unfolded. You understand? It's a ridiculous way of thinking. How your mind puts you into trap. Can you see this? It unnecessarily mind creates a trap for you. Mind creates some type of, like a hollowness, vacuum in you, and you are caught in that vacuum. Because if little bit knowledge is there, that let the Prarabdha, anyway, I don't have choice with reference to my Prarabdha. It has to be unfolded. So when it is unfolded, so then why should I be afraid of? That's why a little bit knowledge with devotion, the person manages this boat easily. Boat means this life, okay? Somehow that person is able to sail in a better way than so-called thinkers. We say very beautifully, carefully, especially when this sailing they do. Because you have to really something really to learn with this. I'll stop it, okay, with this incident. Sailing is very nice to go through, because I had a really little bit experience, which is really interesting to do in life at least once. Because sailing is exactly like life. That is how I looked at. You have all means. Remember, in present day boat, you have all sort of comfort. You can ignite engine also, but that is not sailing. Without using anything. In fact, when they go for computation, you'll be shocked to know, namesake they will keep some diesel or petrol or whatever, very namesake, because remember that also becomes heavy. And when they go for sailing, the dress that they wear, it should be as less as possible. At the same time, it should protect them, because you do not know, suppose rain comes. Of course rain inevitably comes, okay, wind and whatnot, and in the sea sometimes 2-3 days, you cannot believe what hell they go through. But before boarding this boat, it's an amazing thing to understand. They never carry any unnecessary person. Number one, no unnecessary luggage, including food. They calculate, suppose 2 days or 3 days, for 3 days whatever minimum food with that manage. No extra water to drink, because there every liter matters. Because if your boat is heavy with all these things, can you compete with others? You cannot. That 1 liter matters. And interestingly, you have to navigate with the nature. Any moment wind will change. So with the help of the wind, you do not know what is wind, how it will come, when it will come, nothing you know. But you have to make use of the wind, whether it is going to support you or it is going to be adverse, makes no difference. Whichever direction wind may come, makes no difference. Your job, that is why they are the tactician, job is to change, to guide then and there, so that you have to make the adverse situation as favorable to you. That's why I am trying to tell you, if a person really manages to sail for few days in life, without any murmuring, without any complaint, that's the most important aspect. I am sure that person can manage anything in life. That was being taught by the Life of Pi movie, which is amazing to observe, to understand. That's why, remember, when you start sailing, you do not look at what is going to happen. But whatever happens, you are ready to negotiate. Can you see this point? And interestingly, the group completely surrenders to the tactician. Whether he is right or wrong is secondary. Completely the group has to surrender. If they don't surrender, they cannot move. Impossible. Because it takes a fraction of a second to change the direction from one direction to another direction. Moment says, okay, change, it has to be changed. There is no choice. So what I am highlighting here is how you can make the adverse situation into your favorable condition. It is because of two things: trust and your presence of mind. If that can happen with reference to sailing, remember, facing prarabdha is not that complicated as sailing. I'm not telling you jokes. Because in sailing you do not know where you are. At least in prarabdha you know where you are, you understand? I'm not telling you jokes. Once you are in the sea, you are lost. That's why if any one of you get a chance to do the sailing, please sometimes you must do sailing to understand what is the life. I personally feel sailors are better, supposed to be better in their personal life, supposed to be, okay? But there are people, they live the way they want, okay? That's another thing. Because they are not sailor, they are the owner of boat, sailing boat, okay? This is the problem. Never become owner of your sailing boat, but be a sailor. The moment you become owner of your sailing boat, your life has to be miserable, because always you will think, nothing else, okay? So that we will see more of it on Monday. Please close your eyes.